The digital kit is within the framework of the Excellence and Renovation plan of the government of Spain based on the next generation funding. So this is a 21st century Marshall Plan, and we need to acknowledge that Europe reacted fastly in order to correct the imbalances provoked by the pandemic. But the digital program, more specifically, is focused on the digitalization of smaller companies, micro companies, and freelancers, so companies with less than 50 employees or staff members. So why do we have to talk about cybersecurity in this regard? Because cybersecurity is envisaged in this regard, and we must be aware that digital war is expanding and cyber threats increase at the same time. Let me give you some data for you to see whether or not we are fully aware of cyber threats, especially among small companies. In this segment, I would like to remember something. So in this segment accounts for 51% of employment in our country. So it's extremely important for our SMEs to have access to these aids. It's a great opportunity for them. And actually, and I'm going to talk about this later, when we were designing the program, the motto was, how are we going to get capillarity when you launch subsidies program and when you have so many difficulties for the companies to request the support from you? So thanks to the support of everyone, territorial administration and companies, this happened. So we launched the first call for 10 to 50 employees companies. And in the province of León, 75% of these companies requested the subsidies, so which is a success. And I'm going to talk about this later. Another important aspect is this is a digitalization program for SMEs, but we had to reinvent ourselves as the public sector, because if we tackle with the files as business as usual, we would have had 3 hours per file. Now we have a robotization system, and we only take 15 minutes. 20 robots that consult databases, and they make sure whether or not the company fulfills with the requirements. So we have 3 robots dedicated to each file. So in 15 minutes we can agree for a subsidy to be given, which is a success. It is a SMEs digitalization program, I remember, but when we made a calculation, we saw that nothing would have happened if we didn't reinvent the way we dealt with the files. Let me tell you also that the cooperation of the mercantile registry and the notary office has been fundamental. So we cannot torture citizens when we provide them with so many data. So we collaborated with institutions, robots use, and robots calculate whether or not a company is eligible. So let's see what the digital program is all about. Many of you are digital experts, so you probably know this, but let me give you an overview of the program. This program has 3,067 million in terms of micro subsidies, 600 euro up to 12,000 euro. 12,000 euro for companies with less than 50 employees, 6,000 euro for companies 3 to 10 employees, and companies that have less than 3 members, they will get less than 3,000 euro. So we've never had such a great program in Spain. The idea is to reach as many SMEs as possible. Without technology, this would have been not possible. We have dealt with more than 70,000 files. The old-fashioned, we would have need 4,000 employees. So we have 200 people working in digital, and we also work with external experts, 100 external experts to help us assist in the dealing with the files. So this launch, 12,000 euro, was launched in March. Next year is also ongoing. The 6,000 euro subsidies, companies 3 and less than 10 was launched last month. We accepted more than 50,000 applications, but I would like to encourage people to send their application. And this month, a third call will be launched for companies that have less than 3 employees. So all freelancers should submit their application, freelancers and small companies. We use a platform, AcceleraPyme, www.accelerapyme.com. As you can see, this platform was opened less than 1 year ago. We have 310,000 companies, 2.5 million visitors, and 15 million websites have been visited thanks to the platform. So the impact is spectacular, accelerated by the digital program. So we have 3 worlds: the beneficiaries that will receive the support, and then the digitalizers. It's important to notice that this is SME's digitalization program. So the Red.es team would have been better if we launched a call or a tender, and things would have been completely different. So a tender, we divided the country in 4 or 5 territories or sections. We would have looked for main digitalizers for digitalize everything. That was not reasonable. That's why we opened an addition process, and we have more than 9,300 digitalizers that are joined. There are minimum requirements for them to work with us, and since January we started working, and we have more than 9,300 digitalizers. This is a PEP project, which is one of the most important in Spain and Europe. 9,000 digitalizers and 1 million beneficiaries. So this is something which is unprecedented. On the other hand, we have the beneficiary world, meaning companies. As they see calls were launched, they can submit their applications. From Thursday on, the last call will be submitted, companies with less than 3 employees. So they all can request for the subsidy. To request the subsidy, we said ourselves things should be easy. Easy because SMEs don't look at the official Gazette. Secondly, all the paperwork and all the administrative work would be very difficult, so we will never be requested. So 0 paper is asked. The conclusion is no paperwork has to be submitted. We use robots to consult other databases. If database is provided with errors and we see this company is not eligible, we deal with it. So that was essential. And also it is important that before submitting the application, a digital maturity test should be completed. This is not a condition for the subsidy, but we need to know what is the level of maturity, digital maturity before and after the program. It's a public institution, so it's important for us to see if the company is productive and competitive. When the subsidy is required and if all the conditions are met, we are working, let's say, 30 days, at a 30 days deadline. If everything is correct and the form is fully completed, the digital bond is issued in 30 days, and since that moment on, a digitalizer on the marketplace work with them to sign an agreement between beneficiary and the digitalizer. We have 31,000 agreements that have been signed. As I said before, digitalizers might say things are slow. Well, things are slow because beneficiaries have 6 months to spend the money. And then one thing is working and the other thing is selling. Digitalizers should sell. And they should sell and convince about the needs and the virtues of your product. So things are in motion, and those who will get the money will be digitalizers, obviously. So when we designed the program at the time, we faced many options. We pondered many options, and some countries decided that was the best option. So we said, let's talk about tax deductions for the program. So if you spend on digitalization, you can deduct this from taxes. But this is not okay for SMEs because they are far from that. The VAT things and everything, that was difficult. Another option was sending the invoices. We dealt with it, and then they had to anticipate money. And the problem is companies might say, I don't know if I'm going to be paid, so capillarity was not existent. So digital bond, that was the option we decided. We will not give money to the SMEs. We will work with digitalizers for capillarity reasons, and I believe the data show that we achieved this. Things are easy, and we make things easier. And even if it is easy, for some people, using forms is difficult, so we came up with a figure, the administrative representative, which is a novelty actually, because you can appear before the administration represented by a proxy, and the proxy thing might be an individual or an association that will request the digital bond. So in the third call, for the first call, 60% of requirements are those made by voluntary proxies. So, ergo, of the 70,000 requests without the proxy, we would only have 30,000. To become a beneficiary, the Subsidy General Act applies. Any company with less than 50 employees might require or ask for the subsidy. So, what can be funded? This is a digitalization program, meaning we don't fund for purchasing computers. We need to improve digital maturity. When we study our strengths and weaknesses, we can see in our productive tissue, companies with less than 50 companies, their productivity might be improved. Companies with more than 50, their productivity might compared to the level of Europe. So digitalization should be good for the entire sector and for the companies that account for 51% of employment in Spain. So we fund solutions, actually. For the second call, we extended things, and we said we're going to fund for hard works if they are part of a solution. We are not going to pay for computers. Some of the digitalizers asked for the possibility of paying for computers, but we don't pay for computers. We pay for solutions, digitalizers. I'm not going to take long to talk about this, but digitalizers should comply with minimum requirements in terms of invoicing. 9,300 digitalizers adhere to the program, so the requirements are minimum, and now we can say that the ITC sector is going to actively participate in the program, and that was the goal. So the solution catalog. Or do we spend the bond? We had to industrialize this. Some people might say, I need something else. But 1 million subsidies, 3 million of agreements, either you industrialize things or things will never happen. So we have a catalog of solutions for the first, second, and third call. So the goal of all this is to achieve cross-cutting aspect of all the products for any company to improve their digital maturity. For the three first solution, e-commerce and social media, aim at extending the company abroad. There are other parts of the sector which want to improve information provision, etc. And also we have cybersecurity, say secure communities, VPNs, and cybersecurity. So let me give you one datum. Of all the agreements signed, 10% of all the agreements signed are for cybersecurity, which accounts for 26% of the companies that are required, and 1 in 4 companies are requiring for cybersecurity solutions. So the reflection we might come up with is either they are already using them and we believe it's not, or not the appropriate priorities being given to that. So please send the message. Digitalization, but always coupled with good cybersecurity. The more we expand the digital world, the more cybersecurity threats increase. 60% of companies that were hacked closed. That's what I read. Closed by default. So that's a great threat. So we hope this figure to increase. Let's see what is going to happen with smaller companies, especially those with less than 50 companies. How do you spend the bond? The digital bond accounts for 12,000 euro, 6,000 euro, 3,000 euro solutions. On the left, you have websites. We have all the solutions here. 12 is 12 month of service provision. This is a subsidy, so in a subsidy, criteria are established, and the company should be in operation for 12 months. That is going to be compulsory. So you test, and if the solution is not okay, then you have to reimburse that. So the thing is something operational, not administrative. So, of course, a website that has been in operation for 12 months, obviously it's going to operate for longer. Same thing for e-commerce, etc. So I would like to ask digitalizers now, Appendix 4 of the basis. Solutions should comply at least what is indicated in Appendix 4. Otherwise, we will never be able to pay for the subsidy. Everything has been industrialized because otherwise it would be impossible to manage. I would like to encourage you all. We have Acelera PYME website. You can access to request a subsidy. You can consult everything. You can see everything. And this is the meeting point with digitalizers, with the network actually. And this is where you're going to receive the digital bond. I would like to encourage you to join the digital change. Join a secure and safe, secure digital change. So cybersecurity solutions must be reached by all together. And this is important for us to work together on this awareness-raising campaign so that 70 or 80% of companies will require this cybersecurity solution. Thank you very much.